Settling into practice. Your whole body is soft and easy, open. Remember that first you start by stacking your body up appropriately so that your weight is resting on your chair in the correct position. Your feet and knees are in a space that they can hold you and be soft. Your hips are flexed appropriately so that your back can be straight. This part of your hips soften, your lower back releases. Your shoulders are in the right position. Your head is somewhere above your spine. And then, as you've stacked yourself up appropriately, then you soften downward. So as you release your neck and throat, you're letting go of everything that is holding your head down and pulling your shoulders and your chest toward your face. All of this releases, and so your neck lengthens, it decompresses. The crown of your head floats upward, but not because you are pushing your head up. There's no added effort. It is only a result of letting go, as everything in our practice. Your chest is soft. Your shoulders are released. Remember that they are not rolled forward. They are not pulled back. They follow along the side of the body. The shoulder blade releases down the back as your chest releases in the front. Then you simply bend your elbows someplace. As you soften your chest, it's as though the qi sinks down toward your dantian. Your upper back softens. Your belly releases, your lower back softens, allowing the weight to drop into the chair. As you exhale, you simply let go of any tension that you're hanging on to. It's a natural way to soften. And then as you inhale, you deepen that sense of open stillness. You're not really trying to do anything. You're just resting here, being comfortable and still. Taking the time to shed the busy mind and the busy body. With every exhalation, a little bit softer, a little bit better at letting go of things we're hanging on to. With every exhalation, a little bit more released to the distractions and the noise in the mind. We don't push the mind away. We don't control it in any way. We just look at it and let it go. It's not interesting. Because it's not interesting, the mind focuses on something else. One of the reasons the mind can often continue spinning up old worries or old thoughts is because we look at them and we react really strongly, and we tell the mind, the brain, oh, this must be really important. And so it says, okay, well, we'll look at that more often because it's so important. And so as you react to it and try to push the thoughts or the feelings away, it's giving the same message as obsessing over them. And the cure is this very comfortable disinterest. You are simply here in the present moment. Distractions aren't interesting. Busyness isn't interesting. So if work drama comes up, you just notice it and go, not interesting. And you let it go because it's a tensing of the mind. Your awareness settles back and you never had to do anything with it. Relationship drama, worries about your body or the future, circling and obsessing about the past, just look at it and go, yeah, it's not real, it's not interesting. There's this call to the real, to the present moment, to what's really happening. At some point, we just get tired of pretending, get tired of illusions and circling the drain of our nonsense. And so this moment is one of those possibilities where you just are done with the drama. You're done with the noise. You're done with wandering off. You don't have to keep doing it. You simply settle here and heal. Shoulders are soft. Awareness is soft. Letting your awareness begin to, again, soak into that layer beneath the skin, opening the point on the very top of the head. So if you're pressing down and you feel like you're closing your neck or closing the point, find a way instead to activate and open the crown of the head, to soften the neck, to release this whole area, since that's our actual goal. And then we continue releasing. The theme of today is all about the possibility of letting go, being soft, being through, being able to flow. This sense of freedom. In Taoism, they talk about it as being a free and easier wanderer, like that you are floating free like a cloud. And this possibility doesn't come from pushing or forcing things open. It comes from letting go and making space. settling into the present moment by letting go of whatever it is that's tightening your awareness, taking you into the realm of imagination. If you can, just do your best to stop pretending for the next hour or so. And you'll find it's much easier to simply be here. Perhaps feeling a sense of spreading warmth or ease. That's a sign of positive chi flow. It just means circulation is increasing and things are opening. Remember that chi means a lot of things, basically means everything. In this case, we're talking about health. And so positive chi flow is anything that is nourishing and opening, that is healthy for your system. So the circulation or your muscles releasing, or in this case, the fascial lines opening, perhaps your joints softening, being more nourished, even the discs in your back being more hydrated. These are all aspects of positive chi flow from this definition. So don't get it twisted with strange or mysterious things. Chi is not strange or mysterious. Well, it can be mysterious and subtle, but it's not magic. It's just life. allowing your awareness to sink into the tissues beneath the skin. It always feels especially good for me to settle just around the collarbone here. I can't remember if I ever broke my collarbone.
I did.
Yeah.
I flew off the swing.
That's not great.
No.
So painful. I think I did. Gosh, I can't remember. Oh, I did. I caught an axe kick.
An axe?
Yeah, and just
Kick.
stupid taekwondo people. We were being silly and I wasn't paying attention. Always taking the time to settle or sneeze.
Excuse me.
As much as you listen for that feeling beneath the skin, start to develop a sense of what it's like when your chi sinks and begins to settle into the middle danxian. Even just a 1% shift in that direction is good. Again, sometimes that 1% change can mean everything for somebody's health and experience of the life around them. Because if they're that 1% that pushed them up onto that new plateau of pain or suffering or illusion or misunderstanding, that 1% then can drop them back down into a whole new world of comfort. So don't feel like you have to make giant changes. Sometimes just make the small ones. Just relax your feet. Just soften your jaw, and you can find a whole world of difference. Small changes are okay. Small changes are amazing. Big changes are only made from small changes. Feels good. By the way, Chris, Mel is busily enjoying your stool. So thank you. It's not on camera, but it is being used.
I keep trying to get him to use it, but he won't.
Well, this one is...
He insists that I use it.
I think it's important. We need to get stuff that's
very kind of you.
Shaped better for you. You deserve comfy things. Easing this whole space open. Sometimes it can be useful if you have a memory of some time in your life, even just a short moment, that your mind was easy and quiet. You had this sense of calm. You may have even noticed it at the time. Wow, I feel really calm inside. Very peaceful emotionally. Your body gets soft. Maybe your mind is just quiet, so you're able to look around and see nature for the first time. Notice the people in your life for the first time. It's a very common experience when there's those moments of deep stillness. And to recognize that those were not moments where something was added to you, Those were things when stuff was removed, all the noise was removed. You were uncovering your actual nature. And that's a very important distinction because people misunderstand the nature of peace and relaxation and, in this case, good health, this free and easy wandering quality. It's not a thing we're trying to create. It's already your nature. We're trying to help you release all of the stuff covering it up. And that's everything we're doing. And so anytime you're doing a practice that's trying to add something to you, it's often a mistake. Or it might not be the right time if first you haven't removed all the other stuff. So please do find in your experience, if you can, even just one of those moments. My friends and I recently were calling it the North Star moments, where you always know somewhere inside you, oh, this is possible because I had that moment. No matter how I feel now, it's possible to settle and to feel free. Because not everybody knows that, but most people have had at least one experience they can lean on. And if you can, find that and use that as a way to remind yourself and encourage yourself to let go, because you know what's under all of that. That sense of peace that can be found when you are simply settled and quiet. You don't need to go out and find it. It's already here. It's one of the big complaints from the Daoist community about the practices where people are pumping up their energy really strong. They're just pumping the chi, because most of what they're pumping up is the noise and the tension and the stagnation, and they're just making everything worse. Before that, you begin to strongly nourish chi first, become free. Restore naturalness. Remember that in Taoism, enlightenment isn't some thing, some grand space to move to. It's becoming a zhenren, becoming a real person. You're just becoming human, becoming yourself. That's a very high state of cultivation. And it's just through release. It's just through stillness. Then you can cultivate different things. But first, move towards stillness. Move toward letting go. You don't need anything new. Just let go of all of the noise you have. Letting go of anything obstructing the breath, warming and softening the tissues. easing things open, just making space. Can you remember what each of the 6 channels, where it runs to in the body? Which finger goes to which channel? It's just worth running through it once in a while to remind yourself. Would you like me to turn on the heater? Okay. Easing it open, just softening your shoulders. What are the kinds of emotions that arise when your mind and your body are constrained? They're tight. And what are the kinds of emotions that arise as you feel free and open and soft? Use the physical sensation as an anchor to help bring you back into the present moment. Not thinking about the sensation, but actually experiencing the sensation. Sensations in your body are always happening now. So they're a wonderful way to keep coming back and back and back. Letting go and letting go. Settling into the now. Stay here. Out of tea already. Good thing I brought backup tea. Dun, 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 dun. Emergency tea.
Emergency tea.
Dragon Well green tea. Very lovely. Just staying soft and present. Today we are cultivating the liver channel, talking about it at least, from the hips to the toes. And the liver is related to the ability to be soft and long and through and connected. The liver is that which smoothly releases, so you can go all the way to the end and come all the way back, uninhibited. That's the idea. But for most people, they feel the need to control their universe, to hold on to everything, which obstructs that ability to release and be open and have free flow. And so to heal that is not to try to push more energy through it or to force it open or to use a crowbar on your body mind, but as usual, to let go of everything that's holding on, because that's the function of this liver qi in Chinese medicine. Free flow and ease. Free and easy wandering, like the wind or a cloud. Get a feel for it. The other day, was it 2 days ago, a gentleman came to the monastery and he was about to ship out to a military thing. And a teenager about to go off to the military and was essentially feeling suicidal. And fortunately, he came to the monastery and talked to my instructor, which is a lot of what he spends his time doing, just taking care of the community. And it wasn't anything that he said that helped him heal, because he did leave much healthier and better off. But it was more of how he was. That ZhiCheng Shifu was modeling this ease, this not needing to hold on and control everything, this quality of force and control that's constantly being modeled to us through social media and the people in charge around us and authority figures. Because so many people that end up in positions of power are power hungry, and that's how they got there. And so they model this control and force and obsessive, I have to control everything. And to see somebody who was just free in their heart and in their body and in their mind was enough to help him start to let go. And of course, part of the recommendation was that he seek out professional help and to find support systems and things in case this sort of thing came back up again for him, as it does for so many people. But sometimes the healing comes just by either being around somebody who models this ease or being that person who models that ease for other people. It's surprising how powerful it can be. I'm sure you've experienced it. Just letting go, just being yourself gives other people the permission to let go and be themselves. And that's so freeing. And so if any of you would like to do me a favor in the world, is at some point today, or tomorrow if it's late for you, to be that model for somebody else. Just to take the time to be yourself for 10 minutes. Letting go, being easy, being gentle and kind, present for another person. Because I'm a big believer that that kind of thing is contagious too. And it's likely to spread. This is the kind of contagion we want to spread. Ease into openness. Just friendly and present with yourself and your experience. I was thinking of one of my favorite poems about spreading peace and joy around the world. I heard someplace when I was a kid, and I used to graffiti it on bathroom walls in the universities and places I went as a kid. I have no idea where I first heard it. But the poem is, smiling is infectious. You catch it like the flu. When someone smiled at me today, I started smiling too. I passed around the corner and someone saw my grin. And when they smiled, I realized I passed it on to them. And I thought about that smile and realized its worth. A single smile, just like mine, can travel around the earth. And that poem had a huge impact on me because I genuinely think it's true. And I think it's one of the ways that we help heal this slight problem we have as humans in the world. I think it's part of the medicine that we need, not a fake smile. Although sometimes that's better than shouting at somebody. But genuinely just being yourself. The radical, revolutionary nature of just being comfortable being yourself. And giving other people the permission to be themselves. And Steph, tomorrow, if you want to send me those pictures, then I will spend a whole period of time talking about releasing whatever area it is that you're wanting to focus on back there. Easing open the legs. Oh, well, I'm here. Right up in here. The place that we had been focusing on before, in the soft space between the groin and this hip space, stomach 30, that's a place that we often spend time relieving during this practice. The spleen point that we worked on yesterday is just a little bit above that. The liver point that we're working on today, the liver channel begins down the leg from this point, or travels up the leg from this direction, and it's a little bit further into the groin. The channel itself wraps around the groin, and so if you go down until you touch the tendon line here, then you've gone a little bit too far. There's a little space just before that. But if you want to release that area a little bit further down toward the groin, softening that line, then that will be part of this channel line that we are easing open today. Softening the knees. Stomach 34. And then spleen 10 on the inside here. Warm and soft. And then, especially for the sake of today, although sometimes we do talk about it, we talk about this soft space, this inner cheek here of the thigh, very sensitive area. That's up and through here, there's a point called liver 8, which is just lovely to work with. And so I thought we could spend time just focusing on that on each side, just down here. So if this is the spleen 10 point, I come down my leg to the soft spot just on the inside above the knee. And I'm going to warm that. You can use your fingers, your palm. I'm still enjoying using this part of my thumb for some reason. It feels very nice. So you want to open and relieve that area. Your hands perfectly soft, your mind soft. Sorry, Dale, I haven't been reading your comments, but I'll check on them. Warm and easy, this place. Today for me, moving a little bit faster and heating the area up more feels really good. Some days it'll be just this soft, gentle pressure helping to ease open the fascial line, that membrane. So again, listen to what helps you feel good and then find a way to emphasize that opening. Quite literally, every day it feels a little bit different. So this is this area just above the knee on the inside. If I was to use one finger, it would be here. And then Moving underneath the knees here. Softening that space open. A reminder to make sure you're not holding your breath and to fold from the hips if you create this rather than hunching, so that your shoulders can stay soft and your hands can stay soft. And if you need to adjust your position to find a more comfortable way to reach these points, of course, please do that. These points are wonderful for lower back pain in general. And then stomach 36, just on the outside of those bones. I'll do them and spleen 9 that we worked on yesterday at the same time. Warm and soft. Bless you. And then the same thing with gallbladder 34, a little bit higher into the outside of that point. Warm and easy. You can notice that I'm not rounding my back. My spine is able to be straight. My neck is released. Make sure that you're not kinking up your body or holding your breath. And you may just need to experiment to find something that works for you. And if you were to come a little bit further back as you come down the leg, this is more of the liver channel. The spleen channel is just up against the bone here. And the liver channel does meet with it down here, but it's kind of up along the calf and this line here. Allow your awareness to soak into the tissues around the knees. One aspect of Qi flow is the awareness of your mind in the tissues. You want to allow that deep awareness in your body. In this case, not very deep, a little deep. It's a really great place to start this process of becoming aware of the inside of your body. Shoulders and hands and elbows soft. So we've been at this for a month now. I'm wondering if people are noticing that this point is perhaps less reactive. I know for some people, their bodies are going through a lot, and so having points reactive is just part of that. But for those of you who are just in a normal place, are you able to notice a difference in how softening open this space in your leg is becoming easier? Just out of curiosity. It'll take as long as it takes, but usually after regular practice about this long, people start to notice some differences in how they feel. And those subtle changes slowly add up. They represent something different, something deeper. Being gentle. So this spleen 6 point that we talk about, that is the distance of your fingers up from the inside of your ankle here, just at the top where the bone falls off. It's labeled as a spleen point, but really it's san yin jiao, the 3 yin channels crossing. So the liver channel that we're working on also crosses here. The kidney channel that we'll also work on also crosses here. Softening that tissue open. Gentle, warm. Where your fingers are tracing over the top, if you allow a little awareness in through here as well, just in through here near the ankle, this is also part of the liver channel, softening that open. And then all the way down, one foot, of course, warming and opening the bottom of the foot here. The palm warming the spleen channel that we were working on yesterday. But also on the top here, that space between these two tendons, between the big and the second toe, your fingers settle into there and warm that space. This is liver 3, liver 2, liver 4 is up here. And you're just warming and opening that area. On the arm, we had a finger that had 2 channels on it. Perhaps you remember which one that is. And on the foot, we have something similar. And it happens to be the big toe. The liver channel runs to the inside of this big toe. So if you'd like, you can soften the toes a bit. The way that we do this to the fingers, you can also do this to the toes if that feels good. Especially if you tend to have feet that get really stiff or cold, you can spend time softening them open, working them a little bit. One of the things I'm hoping people get out of this set, in fact, is that their feet become a little bit more alive and flexible. Do you like my frog socks?
I do.
Daoists love a good frog. They're expert meditators. Softening the calf. Ah. Opening 3 yin crossing, letting the fingers warm and soften here on the top and the side of the ankle. Remember, we're not trying to force things to move. We're not trying to press in. We're simply releasing that space just beneath the surface. You want to feel that sense of warmth and liveliness begin to spread. If you wanted to and it felt good and it was easy for your body, you could easily spend 10 minutes just softening open all of the fascial lines on the feet. And it's one of those places that has taken the most abuse in the body. Maybe one of these days we'll do an extended foot set. We just have to cut everything else shorter to do it. Interesting. My screen froze for a second. So remember that you are letting things open. Like Dale says, soft and flexy. Not flexy because you're trying to stretch. Flexible because you're soft. Because you're not hanging on to anything. All of the things that are tight and gripping, all of this stays soft as you come down. Don't pull your legs. If anything, let your legs go that way as they let go. Your whole spine softens over the top this way. Letting your feet circle. Remember that the movement is including that space where you're sitting. Lengthen your spine, releasing it upward, continuing to lengthen as you fall forward, only as far as feels comfortable. If this is uncomfortable, find a way to make it comfortable, make it smaller. I've heard some complaints about this movement because it hurts, which means that people are doing it wrong. You are not practicing tension. Lengthen your spine. A few of you have done the soft internal 8 pieces of brocade, that Badon practice. 8 pieces of gold. This is that seated. You're lengthening your spine, your shoulders are soft, no tension at all. Easy. Oh, feels nice.
Mm-hmm.
So what is liver qi in the body? It is the energy of open-hearted kindness, friendliness, generosity, humaneness. It's soft, free-flowing ease in the world and in your body. Your joints are soft and open and flexible. Circulation travels where it needs to. No inhibition. Everything is free. That's healthy wood energy, liver qi. So you want to allow for that in your body, in your mind. Doing a bit of the teeth and tongue movements. And if you'd like to, you're welcome to lie down or just stay seated more comfortably, whatever that works for you. Remember that you might want to place something beneath your knees and beneath your head, maybe beneath your elbows. Find a way to be comfortable as you lay down. Allowing your awareness to become free and open and effortless. You might feel your whole body. At some point, if you'd like, you're welcome to make sure you have some circulation in your hands and your feet, and then comfortably move back into a seated position. But if you prefer to stay lying or just drift off to sleep here, you're certainly welcome to. Letting your awareness include that middle dantian space, as well as the whole body, as well as the space around you. So letting your awareness spread out comfortably, but remain very slightly anchored in the center of your body. Anchored in the present moment. Settled in your real self. Thank you very much, everybody. If you have questions, feel free to ask and they'll come up. I know probably there's some questions from Del up here. But if there's anybody else that wants to jump in, feel free. You guys are reminding me I need to spend more time watching the old Kung Fu movies. Actually, at the monastery, for a while before COVID, there was this plan to set up weekly potlucks and Chinese and Kung Fu movie nights. And we were going to start doing that. And then everything changed the way it does. Oh yeah, OCD can be a really big deal, and there's certainly specialists in that. A friend of ours has been healing himself from OCD. He's quite a success story. And there are people who specialize in it, but even the person that he worked with is actually a Daoist. And it is remarkable, just defanging the mind, just giving it a little less power, even if its tendency is to be supercharged, to learn how to sink and anchor the chi, to learn how to relate to thoughts in a more healthy way, to not buy into them, to not chase them. And so it slowly decompresses the nervous system response to it. And I know it, and people these days use the term OCD very lightly, but for the people who have the genuine clinical experience of it, it can be pretty wild. And so for all of the people out there that are dealing with that, I definitely recommend taking the time to emphasize a part of the day each day to heal that process. And this can be part of that. And it's fine to do a little bit of spontaneous style Qigong. You simply want to make sure that you are not constantly following the Qi. The classic statement is, if you follow the sensations in your body, it tends to break your form. If you follow the sensations of Qi, it causes stagnation. What you want to do is follow the intentless intent, and that leads to heaven. And so that's this classic way of thinking about it. You want to become not caught in your own patterns, physical or Qi patterns or mental emotional patterns, but rather to find healthier, more balanced patterns and let those lead you.
Have you explained what intentless intent is in this class?
We've talked about it a couple different times.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's really hard to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, real OCD can be a genuine, very painful life experience for people. And of course, there's levels of it, gradations of it, like there is with anything. And so the tendency toward obsession and compulsion is found in everybody at some level, and then it gets worse and worse, especially if you feed into it. But it does seem as though there are people who are predisposed to have genuine, great pain from it, and it's no joke. And so I have huge respect for the people that learn to heal it, like my friend. But he's worked with a therapist for years on it, and every day he does his homework, which is all about seeing the ridiculousness of his compulsions. He writes them down on index cards and reviews them every day just so his mind can go, oh yeah, that's silly. Oh yeah, that's silly. And he's very good at that. So even when it comes up, even if his nervous system is firing up in relationship to the thought, he's able to look at it and go, that's just a silly thought, and doesn't need to chase it. And it has changed his whole life. He's quite an amazing guy. But he spent a lot of time practicing. Yeah, for me too. Any other questions? Any other people that want to chip in? Yeah. Oh, and from the Taoist perspective, just to say that mindfulness is a quality of awareness. It's just part of what we are. We're always mindful of something, in the sense of following something around. And so if we think of daydreaming and wandering around as a kind of mental tension, some daydreaming is fine, but when our mind is taken away forcibly by something, that's a kind of gripping of something. And so we want to allow it to release. And then the mind settles into the present moment, which we call mindfulness. But so often mindfulness is more an exercise in gripping and trying to hold on to something, like you're doing an isometric exercise with your brain. And so we want to definitely emphasize the one that opens into the moment, not tries to hold on to something that's real. But I certainly know it can be a challenge in the beginning. So the practice is just coming back, but coming back not through pulling, coming back through letting go. And every time you do it, it gets a little easier. And our attachment to our thoughts gets a little easier because we see it. And all we're doing, just like my OCD friend, is practicing being like, just a thought, just a daydream, just something. And you kind of shrug internally, and you come back, and it gets easier and easier until they don't pull you away anymore, because your brain has figured out, oh, we don't need this. Your nervous system has figured out it doesn't need to be hooked into every thought, because that's just a conditioning pattern. It's really helpful. Mm-hmm. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, these OCD practices can be so helpful. And they're just, at least that one is just based on traditional Taoist and Buddhist practice. And I love that these methods are becoming part of our regular clinical discussion. The same with Chinese medicine. It's being just mixed in now with regular Western practice, which is fabulous. I love that this knowledge is just everywhere now. And bit by bit, it's just all medicine. And so the more people that get access to good medicine, the better. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. To not be afraid or triggered by the thoughts. One teacher that we like, he uses this term Velcro thought. Some thoughts, they sort of come by and they stick to you and they carry you along with them. and over time it loses its stickiness. And so maybe it grabs you for a second, but the Velcro's gotten weak, so it drops you quickly, and you're like, oh, I didn't need to be thinking about that. But the more you can just let them pass by, you kind of just go, that was weird, and it doesn't grab you, then you start to be free. And it's very lovely. And you don't need to try to control your thoughts or stop thinking or any of the stuff that people talk about. It's just your relationship to thinking changes, even the deeper thoughts. That's when things really shift, when you think more about nature of identity and that kind of thing. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you joining. It's a beautiful, misty day over here. I hope that you all are feeling relaxed and warm. Remember to pass on some love and some peace to somebody in your life in the next day or so, just because that's the kind of thing we need to spread around. And enjoy your practice.